Following President Donald Trump's address to Congress, where he rattled off about how great of a job he's doing. You know, oh, doing a fantastic, doing a great job. Economy's great. Everything's awesome, tremendous. Um, well, a new poll has come out showing that many of his voters don't agree, at least in one very important demographic. Um, now, one of the ways that Trump was able to win this election was due to some of the gains that he made among Gen Z men. Younger men have traditionally voted for Democrats. However, in this election, massive swing over to the right. So now Puck News' Peter Hamby reports that some of these polls show that Trump has already lost significant support with this group just a month into his second term. Oops. Or we say,
Whoopsie.
Hamby spoke with pollster John Della Volpe to discuss the data. 6 weeks into the presidency, he writes, Trump's support among young voters is already taking an unambiguous hit as expectations about a shiny new economy collide with our current reality. Now, of course, look, Republicans and Donald Trump, by the way, are going to sit there and blame this on all of this on Joe Biden, of course. Even though we have, the stock market that's already down, we have unemployment that's way up, we got GDP that's going down. So yeah, all that stuff. We got tariffs that are here. That's a massive tax, about $3,000 expected to cost taxpayers over the next year. The result of all this stuff that Donald Trump has done. So, but nonetheless, Joe Biden, he did everything, but I'm doing great. Okay. Now, back to the poll here. Trump's overall favorability with younger voters has dropped 7 points among young voters, since the January poll, the weekend before his inauguration. Trump came into office with a 50% favorable rating among Gen Z. Now he's at 43%. And again, it's the economy. Okay. In January, 62% of men under 30 approved of Trump's handling of the economy. Now just 48% approve, a drop of 14 points in just a month. On handling inflation, Trump has taken a 15-point hit, dropping from 55% approval before the inauguration to around 40% today. And those downward trends are from Della Volpe's February poll, which was in the field a couple of weeks ago. This is before the multiple news cycles about inflation going up, before the tariffs sent the markets in a downward spiral, before the egg prices hit an all-time record high, and before cryptocurrency took a massive dump. Yes, they call them dumps.
Dumps. Big, massive dumps.
The pollster tells Hamby that if Donald Trump doesn't do something and start lowering the cost of living quickly, then even his strongest backers may conclude that he can't deliver. I don't know about that part, honestly, because I think a lot of his strongest backers are still going to be with him no matter what. There's a lot of ride or die people, right? That said, he can't deliver because his promises were bullshit. Just pure, unadulterated crap. I'm going to bring grocery prices down. I'm going to do it on day one. You'll see. Everything will be great and beautiful, and gas will be very, very cheap, and so will the groceries, and you'll love it. It'll be great. That didn't happen. And everyone who was living in the real world knew that that was not going to happen. Okay? No, inflation went up. Grocery prices went up. I mean, what else? And here's the thing, though. It's not because Trump didn't do anything. It's because he can't do anything. Okay? And not to say that, if he could do something, he would. He still wouldn't. Okay? But he can't do anything. The president does not control the price of eggs. Okay. The president does not control the price of groceries. Okay. No, the problem is with inflation specifically, right? About half of the inflation that we've had over the last few years is because of corporate greedflation. Okay. The same corporations, which are now pulling back on DEI for some reason, are the same corporations that raise their prices because they could and are set to get a massive tax cut to the tune of billions of dollars a year. Okay. These companies took advantage of the pandemic to raise prices, pad their pockets at our expense. They're the most profitable that they have ever been, while we, the people, continue to struggle. Okay. And again, Trump can't do anything directly about that. Okay. And so, look, we're continuing to struggle as a result of that, as a result of corporate greed. Maybe there's something that Congress could do to address the price gouging and to stop these companies from doing it, but they won't. Because, again, the Republicans that run Congress right now that are in control get paid by billionaires. And then, and the same companies. And then, of course, Democrats, there's a lot of them that also get paid by the owner donors. Okay. So the same companies. But anyway, as far as Gen Z is concerned, though, and struggle, they've grown up in struggle. They know nothing but struggle. Okay. And so, I mean, I feel for them. I do. And I can understand why some people would vote for a change. And now, at the same time, it's like, but wait a minute. Racism, all the stuff that Trump has said and done, not a deal breaker? Of course, you could come back on the other side and be like, well, supporting a genocide, that's not a deal breaker? Fair. Um, Again, there were big problems with supporting the Israeli genocide, and that did cost Harris a ton of votes. That said, I don't think voting for fascism was a better option, personally. All right. That said, Gen Z, they grew up with struggle, and they also grew up at a time where the right wing has taken over pretty much all social media. You got Facebook, you got TikTok, you got Twitter/X, pretty much owned all by billionaires and people who are currying favor with the right wing and allowed for right wing BS and misinformation, disinformation to spread with abandon. Okay. So there's so much lies there. Okay. And so a lot of people in the younger generations, they listen to the influencers. The influencers were paid by sometimes Russia and other times by the Republican Party to spread propaganda. Okay. And so they believed it when they said Trump would be great for the economy. Well, what a great. How's a billionaire that went, bankrupt 6 times? How's he going to be great for the economy? The guy would have been richer had he not actually done anything with his money other than stick it into an index fund. Okay. And he got this money from his daddy. So no, how would you think that guy would be good for the economy? The only way that you would think so is either if you're on the take, okay, or if you've been lied to so much that you don't know what's true anymore. And that's one of the big problems here. Okay, that's one of the big problems. There's a lot of evidence that Donald Trump was a terrible, steward of the economy, but you actually have to see the evidence. You actually have to know that it's there. And so that's the big problem with this propaganda. Okay. And again, because he's a good con man. He's really good at lying to people. Okay. And so the other thing too, that it was fatal for the Democrats in this election is they didn't really address the financial issues. I mean, you have people like Will Stancil out there saying things like, what are you talking about? The economy's fantastic. It's great. It's the greatest thing ever. Not everybody was feeling it. Okay. Donors also, we're saying Democrats do not run on any sort of change. Okay. on economic issues because we're making a ton of money. And not only that, but you also had the Republican obstruction, right? So, Democrats couldn't actually say that, hey, we have plans. We're going to do this. We're going to make this better. But we have Republicans. Oh, and also, the owner donors. Instead, what they did is Democratic leadership just said everything is great, everything's awesome and amazing, and I don't know why you're complaining, young people. Okay, but in reality, of course, you had Gen Z, millennials, retired people, people who are disabled, that are all telling you, no, things are not good out here economically. Things are more expensive than they've ever been before. We can't get housing. We could barely afford our groceries, student loans, all that stuff. A huge problem. They didn't address that. And so, yeah, young voters, the Democrats lost those voters to Trump. And now those voters have discovered that, oh, turns out Trump wasn't a good idea either. This is not what we voted for. Okay, we voted for something else. Well, hey, look, we tried to warn you guys that Trump is a con artist and a liar. You either didn't listen or you didn't get the message in the first place. Well, one is your fault. The other, not so much. But whatever the reason, the damage is being done. And now we're all set to suffer for the decisions that you guys made. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, subscribe, hit the bell icon in order to get notified whenever a new video is released. And if you want to support independent, progressive media through this difficult time where it seems like everybody is shutting down, you can become a member on our YouTube page, you can become a subscriber on Facebook, or you can go to my Patreon. It's patreon.com/Jeff Waldorf. Thank you.